Um, sorry. Um, anyways, I know it's been really cold for you, so you've had to kind of figure out other ways to like motivate and get outside. And, I mean, that is one of those hard things around this time of year is just being able to motivate to move because it does get cold and it is very tempting to just put on the layers and sit on the couch. And, we do need to continue to move. And that is where I see a lot of people start to lose activity is because, they're too cold. They don't want to move. And, sometimes it is just a matter of just getting out there and starting to move and starting to get warm because, yeah, I mean, I personally, when it's cold, when I'm cold, well, even in Arizona, it has been cold and I've started out with layers like the vest, the sweatshirt, the jacket, the sweatpants, and then there's like a pile of laundry when I actually get into my workout. So, I know it's hard to move sometimes, but definitely dress in layers and start moving until you get warm enough. Having like a happy light or something in your gym, having that heater, setting up barbells and dumbbells next to the heater so that they're not icicles when you pick them up. Like those are going to be things that kind of help it or help you become a little more motivated sooner in your workout. Okay, so let's get into this week's challenge. So this week's challenge is to evaluate your environment. So very often, and I know because I'm here at my brother's and my sister-in-law has a candy bowl. And I can't tell you how many times I've walked by it and just picked up a piece of candy and popped it in my mouth and was like, yep, I just did that, just mindless. And, that just goes to show you that your environment can influence your actions. Very unintentional. And this week is about evaluating your environment and where those potential stumbles or, those mindless eating opportunities may be present in your environment. So now is the time to build awareness around your environment. There's likely, whether it be at work, whether it be at home, like I'm sure there's break rooms, like those of you that are going into the workplace, I'm sure there's break rooms that have a variety, well, depending on how people are this time of year, if they're trying to share their cookies in break rooms or, cookie swaps, whatever, like all the things that, I mean, people don't have like orange swaps. They don't have like apple swaps. They have cookie swaps. So, this is the time of year when we need to be more aware of what kind of things are sitting in our environment and, have the ability to replace them with something that maybe supports your goals more, or at least have the option. So having like a fruit bowl, obviously you're not going to go into the break room or go to your mom's house and like put all the cookies in the cabinets. That's not going to happen. We know that. But if you can at least bring some sort of option that supports your goals, like maybe you bring a bowl of those little Satsuma oranges. Maybe you bring like grapes or things that are kind of easy to snack on, but are healthier. So that, if there's the bowl of like Hershey's Kisses that's sitting there, maybe have the bowl of oranges that are also there and easily peeled and eaten, and probably honestly about the same calories, and it's going to take you a little more time and you're going to get more nutrients from those foods. So, pay attention to your environment. So this week, as far as participation, I want you to build awareness around environments. I want it to be like, you could even, it could be going to the grocery store and just kind of being aware of where certain stands are set in the grocery store. So it doesn't become something where, you just walk in and it's like, oh, grab this candy, or I don't know. I'm using candy as an example, but there's plenty of like pastries and cookies that are probably in the bakery section that if you walk through there, they're front and center and they look delicious. I mean, I've had clients send me pictures of cupcakes with like 2 inches of frosting on the top. And yes, they look delicious and they're like pumpkin flavored or gingerbread or whatever. But just, I want you guys to post something in an environment that you are in that you've become more aware of the placement of, and how like maybe in previous years you might have reached into that candy bowl and just mindlessly ate a few of the candy bars or kisses or cookies or whatever. If there's something that you're doing where you're replacing those potential opportunities to mindlessly eat with something that's healthy, I want you to also post about that. So I want this to be creating awareness around your environment, the environments that you frequent, the environments that you anticipate going to, and what those temptations might look like, and what you can do to combat it or, you know, have a better option for. Let's see. What are some other things in regards to this challenge? Also, be aware of how you respond to certain environments. So, you know, do you have like a stress eating response when you go to like your mom's or your grandma's or a friend or family member? And maybe it's not necessarily like a stress eating response. Maybe it's a stress drinking response. Like evaluate the environments that you're going to, and also become aware of if there are certain environments that will trigger you to act or respond in a certain way. This is kind of a different example, but they do say that people who quit smoking, they end up, you know, if they are someone that maybe they smoked when they went to the bar and when they drank, then when they are in a bar, like maybe they have now chose not to drink, but there's this urge that comes over them to smoke a cigarette. Like just because it is that environmental influence, it might not be something that they are aware of, but they just all of a sudden feel this like overwhelming desire to like smoke a cigarette. Or, you know, maybe there are certain friends' houses that, or family members' houses that you go to, and they always have like this massive bar selection out. And in years past, that was like your first stop when you went to that friend's house. So if you still go to that friend's house, then maybe that is something that subconsciously happens where you just want to gravitate towards that. Or it's just like, oh, I come here, I drink this. So just become more aware of your environments. If there are certain things within that environment that could be a trigger, if there are certain people or like situations that cause you to crave certain things, and what is the root of that craving. That is your assignment for this week. Let's see. When it does come to overindulgences, one, like, just remember, like, you didn't get abs from eating a salad one day. You're not going to like all of a sudden gain 100 pounds because you had a cookie or pie. Like, you know, like one meal is not going to make or break it. So just, you know, when going to Christmas, like enjoy it. Like if you want to track, if you are a tracker, cool, like prioritize protein, prioritize like fruits and vegetables leading up to the meal. But in the end, like if you get to that meal and you want to just be present, be present. Like don't track. Like it's okay. Like 5-10 years from now, you're not going to remember whether you hit your macros for Christmas. Like you're going to remember like, you know, how old like, you know, a family member was, or, you know, the conversations that you had. Like don't get so caught up in the food aspect of things that you forget to be present in the meal and the occasion. One meal, one occasion is not going to break you. So from an indulgence standpoint, like it's okay to have Christmas dinner and enjoy it. And it's okay to have cheesecake. It's okay to have pie. It's okay to have a cookie. Like, understand like there's probably going to be more sodium in the food. Like there's probably not going to be as much nutrients. So, as far as like things to consider and see on the scale, you'll probably see the scale higher because you're retaining more water. You'll probably see the scale slightly higher because you ate foods that were lacking fiber. Like overall, just get back on track, prioritize fruits and vegetables, prioritize drinking water, and you'll be fine. Okay. Like it'll be okay. Like one meal will not break things. Think of it this way. So I don't know if anybody's ever heard this staircase analogy. So if you were walking down a set of stairs and you tripped on a stair, would you throw yourself down the staircase? Probably not. Like same thing goes for nutrition. If you eat a cookie, you don't need to eat the whole bowl of cookies or the whole plate of cookies. Like you do not need to throw yourself down the staircase. You just dust yourself off and you carry on. So same thing, like if you have a cookie, cool, like it happens. Like have a fruit or vegetable, have a big glass of water, like make it the intentions of never missing twice. Like it's okay. Don't throw yourself down the staircase. Now, let's talk about ways that we can create better environments. So because we don't want to, turn our Christmas day into like a Christmas month, and luckily we're almost done with the month anyways. So we just want a meal. So when going into new places, like as I said, have a bowl of fruits or vegetables, like bring a veggie tray, bring a fruit tray. Then you have something that that you can munch on. So if there is, the cookies and the fudge and the pie and your vegetable tray, like position yourself near the vegetable tray rather than next to the cookie tray, because you're more likely to snack on something that's close versus something that's far. Make it attractive. So bring something that you enjoy consuming, so that it is something that you desire to eat. Make it easy. So put healthy snacks in a visible place. So move unhealthy things to harder to reach places. So putting them in corners, like putting lids on them, putting like tinfoil over them. Like those are things that are going to make it invisible. So you're less likely to mindlessly eat it. Like you have to, even though it doesn't feel like a lot of work, like you have to put work into taking a lid off of something. You have to put work into taking the tinfoil off. I know it doesn't seem like much, but when we're working to kind of break habits or not do something, we want to increase the resistance to get to it. So, doing little things like that are ways that you can decrease the likelihood of you doing it because you're making it a little bit harder. As I said, make it invisible. So cover it, make it unattractive. So think about the negative effects of your performance and well-being associated with those things. So things like higher amounts of sugar that can cause higher levels of inflammation in your body, that can affect your gut health, it can affect inflammation in your joints, in your body, and overall absorption of nutrients. It can affect your hormones. Like there's a whole host of things that inflammation can do to the body. So just know that things like alcohol and sugar and processed foods are going to cause higher levels of inflammation. So just be mindful of those things and, kind of think about those things and be like, hey, like, I want to be able to like squat easily tomorrow. And every time I eat sugar, like my joints hurt, or, like gluten really causes issues with my digestion. So think about those things. And thing is, like, if you know what causes you issues, like, if you consume those, like these are the results that I am expecting. And that in order to feel good, which is what you want to do, like, you may need to cut those things out or, have them on occasion and accept the consequences to your actions. Let's see. make it difficult. So as I said, cover it, put it in the freezer. So that's another thing. Like if you make things frozen, they're harder to eat quickly. So that is another way to make it more difficult. And then make it unsatisfying. So think about the negative effects that it can have on you reaching your goals. Let's see. That is all I have for that. I definitely talked a lot. Anybody have any questions on this? Anybody have any anticipated environments that they will be encountering where maybe this will be tested and they will have to either address like certain mindsets associated with different places, or maybe even bring a different option for like a snacking option? Anybody, any?
So holidays, I usually end up bringing to my father-in-law's house a whole different meal for our family, because a lot of times I can't eat what they have available, because I'm dairy intolerant. And so that really helps actually. It's just, I love cookies. So, and I've done like the Whole30 like many times. And every time I do it, I'm like, I have less of a desire to eat specific things. Like this last time, now I don't want to eat ice cream. Like I don't have a desire to eat ice cream anymore, which is super awesome. So there's that. It's just cookies. I love cookies. So yeah, I'll just
have a cookie or two for sure.
I'll just have a couple, and I'll make some, that I can eat, and then try not to eat all of them.
Yes, and you know what? You can always put them in the freezer and save them for another time when you want that like one-off cookie.
Yeah.
Good. Anybody have any like family environments that they anticipate might give them some struggle?
Well, my dad has been here from Africa, and his favorite foods are donuts and hot dogs, because you don't get
donuts and hot dogs over there. Huh.
Yeah, so there's been literally donuts every single day since what are we in now? I think he's been here for 12 days.
Uh-huh. Hot dog every day?
No, he hasn't had a hot dog every day. He's had like half a donut every day. Like he's very moderation oriented. So he won't even eat the whole thing. He'll just have a half.
So they just bite of it.
Yep, pretty much. He just wants to know it's there because he can't get them there. And so I like put them in, I actually put them away so they weren't on the counter. Then he thought they were finished. And then I was like, here are your donuts. And he was like, oh, okay. So he likes them out, but I'm not used to keeping things out because, again, environment. So I was like, I'm putting them in here, so you know where they're at. and actually now, I mean, it's not like I'm a huge donut fiend, but like he did bring some really delicious ones. So I definitely have had a couple, and I'm fine with that. Like it's not like I have to binge on it, and it's not something I do that often. So I don't really feel guilty about it either. And I don't feel particularly bad when I have, say, things in moderation either. So I think for me, it's just that I know that when I do Whole30 and things like that, I actually get in a really bad mental space about how deprived I feel. And I don't necessarily feel that much better physically because I don't know, or maybe I don't know what it is. I think it's just the restriction mindset from years of dieting. Mm-hmm. So for me, like having like that, 80-20 flexibility is important for my like mental state, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and in years past, like it could have been that your calories were kind of low, like implementing the Whole30, and maybe that was what was kind of throwing things off. Is that like overall,
I think my carbs were just too low as well, particularly.
Yes.
Like, because with that, I think the starchier carbs that you're quote unquote, actually, I think now they allow potatoes, but they didn't when I first did it, because I did it like 12 years ago or 10 years when it first came out. I don't know, it's been around a long time. And I think it was more restrictive then, like it was very low carb really. And I think you're right that I was probably just like, this sucks, I feel awful.
Like I'm hungry.
Yes.
Awful. Yeah.
So I think, I don't know, again, it's probably changed a lot now. So you're right. I think, and well, and maybe overall calories were low too. I mean, I don't know, because that was one of the rare times I wasn't tracking, because they're like, you don't need to track, just eat what you want within these parameters.
Mhm.
So I think I was having a very high fat that didn't agree with my digestion. And it just wasn't balanced for me.
Yep.
I think it can have its place in cutting out those foods and finding sensitivities and all those things, that you talk about. But I think, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm dealing with.
That's, well, yeah, I mean, it sounds like you've done a good job with it though, just telling him like, hey, I'm gonna put them over here so they're not gone. Like, I didn't throw your donuts away. We didn't eat them.
Yeah.
You don't need to get more.
Yeah, exactly. And I just knowing that this time of year we're going to have some special foods that we don't normally have, and I'm totally going to just enjoy them, like you said, and
Yep.
and not be thinking about my macros on, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and not overdoing it, but yeah, just enjoying. So
Perfect.
I was having a little bit of wine while we were on this call, and then I actually ended up throwing it away because I was like, this actually isn't what I want right now. But I was having a glass with my dad, and I haven't had any wine for so long. It's like, it starts to taste different. I don't know. Your
Mhm.
tastes
No,
do change.
I agree. Yep. Mhm.
So thank you, Jen.
Good. Absolutely. And I'm glad that your dad is there and you're enjoying time with him.
Yes, it's so wonderful. Thank you. And congrats to Anna for crushing her steps. Dang,
Yes.
really good.
Right? I was like, damn, girl.
Thank you.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, Chris. Yes, we had my brother actually has 3 cats. I don't know where the third one is. There's 2 of them there. 3 cats and a Saint Bernard are what my brother and his wife have here. And then we brought Bella down as well. Do you still want pics info if we meet other goals, water steps? Yes, I still want those. Yeah, does anybody else have any questions? Anything that you can think of, any anticipated struggles? If not, I'm gonna let you all go and hope that you all have a very Merry Christmas. Yeah, let me know if any questions do come up. If you are struggling, if you do have an environment and you're like, this is harder than I thought, just let me know. And, you can shoot me a text anytime and, I'll give you little strategies. Yeah, so I hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas, and I will see you all next week. And after next week, I will be pulling someone for coaching and personal training. So yeah, I will see you guys next week. Have a wonderful Christmas.
Thanks, Jen. Happy
Thanks,
Christmas.
Jen.
Bye. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.